Good morning. Are you Tammy Farrell? And Ms. Farrell, were you able to get someone hired? Okay. Who'd you talk? Okay. And so are you working? Why aren't you working? All right. So I'm going to have you fill out some paperwork to see if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer this morning. You need to fill it out accurately and completely. You're going to swear on oath that it's all true and correct. If you step in front of the clerk, you give you that. Hold off. Good morning. Are you Sarah Henderson? And Ms. Henderson, did you get someone hired? Ma'am, speak up. I can hear you. Okay, did you talk to some lawyers? Who'd you talk to? And who? Okay, so where are you on being able to get someone hired? Okay. Okay. So thank you for doing what I asked you to, Ms. Henderson. What I'll do is I'm going to give you a normal reset, which is about 30 days. Hopefully that'll give you plenty of time to get one of them hired. If it doesn't work with them, be sure and call some others, bring me those names if you're unable to get someone hired, okay? Thank you. Step in front of the phone. Jasmine Dempsey. Good morning. You're Jasmine Dempsey. And did you get someone hired? Right. So like we said, you get a court appointed when you're in custody every time. But when you make bond, I expect you to try to hire them. So who'd you talk to? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And are you working? Okay. With what? Okay. Uh-huh. So what I'll do this morning, Miss Dempsey, if you want, is let you fill out some paperwork to see if you qualify for a court appointed lawyer, since you've done everything I've asked, and then I'll take a look at it, okay? Step in front of the clerk. Make sure you fill it out accurately and completely, and you swear on oath that it's all true. Good morning. You're Valerie Hale. And Miss Hale, did you get someone hired? Who'd you talk to? Huh? What was the...
Here's the credibility test. She says she left rehab to handle warrants. The facility says she quit. In court, perception is everything. Contradictions can sink your case faster than the charges themselves.
middle one? Okay. All right. Did you, are you working? Where you work? I don't know if you'll qualify since you work, are you working full time? Okay. I'm going to let you fill out some paperwork to see if you qualify for the court-appointed lawyer since you did what I asked. I'll take a look at it and we'll go from there, okay? Make sure you fill it out accurately and completely because you're going to swear under oath it's all true. Okay? So it's part of the car. Mr. Holt, next time you come to court, do not wear a jumpsuit. That is not the appropriate dress to come to court. You understand? And Mr. Holt, in clause number 23-1230, this is your initial appearance. You're charged with evading arrest and detention with previous conviction from March 9th of 2023. So since you made bond in your case, you had an opportunity to hire a lawyer. You did? Devonta Holt. I'm going to check on that real quick. When? Oh, this year. Look, he said he's just got out in July. Have a seat. The DA is going to look at some stuff and see if there's something we can take care of, okay? Don't leave the courtroom. Good morning. Are you Michaela Marcantel? And Ms. Marcantel, this is your initial appearance. In cause number 250528. You're charged with a state jail felony offense of theft of property from May 28th of 2022 through June 4th of 2022. Since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire a lawyer? Okay. Why aren't you working? So what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of time to see if you can get a job and start saving up for a lawyer, and we'll see where we get next time. So I'm going to reset your case in about 30 days. Um, in addition to trying to get a job, I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 different attorneys. They all charge different amounts. They have different payment plans. Bring me back the names of the lawyers that you've talked to if you're unable to hire someone, and then we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond from following that court order. And if you do get a job, bring me some proof of that as well, okay? Second part of the call. Good morning. You're Jeremiah Paya? Paya. And Mr. Paya, were you able to get someone hired? Who did you talk to? Speak up. So did you talk to some others to see if they charged different amounts? Are you working? Where do you work? So you need to save up and you need to try to get someone hired. I'm going to reset your case another 30 days. I want you to talk to at least 3 more attorneys. Don't, if you're not going to work with one, you need to talk to as many as possible. It doesn't have to be just 8. It can be 10, however many. Try to see if you can hire one. And if not, make sure you bring me the names of who you talk to when you come back. And also, I want to see if there's okay? That's in front of the call.
This is the emotional debt check. A young mom, pregnant, begging not to be separated from her children. But judges don't just weigh tears, they weigh risk. Has she run out of second chances?
Good morning. You're Dalton Frege. And Mr. Frege, this is your initial appearance. The cause number 250404. You're charged with a third-degree felony offense of evading arrest or detention with the use of a vehicle from February 6th of 2021. And since you've made bond in your case, have you had an opportunity to try to hire them? Did you get someone hired already? Okay. So what I'm going to do is reset your case about 30 days. Give you some time to try to hire. If you get someone hired before the next court date, bring the reset notice that you get today to that lawyer and they'll tell you what to do. If you're unable to hire someone before the next court date, then I'm ordering you to visit with at least 3 lawyers. They all charge different amounts, payment plans. Bring me back the names of the lawyers that you've talked to, and then we'll discuss your options. If you don't do that, then when you come back, you run the risk of me raising your bond for not following the court order and leaving you back to jail. You understand? All right, take it from the clerk to give you a reason. Good morning. You're Stephen Wilburn. Did you get someone hired? Who did you talk to? Who? Huh? Macon? Mm-hmm. Who? What is he? Are they local? So did you just Google now lawyers? And you're working where? So what I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to have you fill out some paperwork to see if you qualify for a court appointed lawyer, since you did what I asked you to, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, if you get a court appointed lawyer and your circumstances change, you might be required to hire one later. They'll get it to make sure you fill out the paperwork that you're going to get completely and accurately, because you're going to swear under both oaths. So you can come to church, you do that. Carolyn Whitaker.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? You too. Good morning, ma'am. You're Carolyn Whitaker. And Ms. Whitaker is charged with aggravated sexual assault as well as injury to a child, elderly, or disabled individual. And what is the amount?
You all found all out special people, one out of the everything else we should. Okay, you all need to make I had a chance to go make sure you do not that is what we're doing.
Okay. What I'll do before you put it on the trial docket is have you fill out a plea bargain rejection. They're on the tablet. You'll get that filled out. Then I'll go over everything and we'll get it. All right. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am. You are Deshandra Joseph. And Ms. Joseph, in cause number 240708, is charged with injury to a child, elderly, or disabled individual. And what is the amount?
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow. I want you to talk this morning. She doesn't have to talk to me before she's making just cut it off.
Any issues? All right. Ms. Joseph, I'm going to reset your case about 30 days. You need to make sure and stay in touch with Mr. Rojas, go visit with him, do whatever before that next court date so that we can see if we can get it enough. Okay? All right, you're free to go. Yes. Mm-hmm. Good morning. You're Jose Contreras. All right, so I'm going to do a normal reset. Mr. Contreras, make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Parker so that you can know everything he knows from the state's attorney, and then we'll get an announcement next court. All right, free. Mr. Rojas, you have Juan Martinez Rodriguez. Good morning. Are you Juan Martinez Rodriguez? And this is 250017. Mr. Rodriguez is charged with theft of property, and Mr. Rojas, what is the amount?
We have it for where you had a green issue. That's been taken care of. Like one more we'll do it now.
Any issues?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to reset it. This will be the last reset. So, Mr. Rodriguez, make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Rojas, take care of everything you need to with him, and then we'll get an announcement of the next court date. Okay, you can translate for me. Teresa Taylor, Mr. Rojas. In case you get a bunch. All right. Good morning, Mr. Teresa Taylor. And Ms. Taylor is charged with fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. Mr. Rojas, what is the announcement?
She had car issues, adult issues. We find it out this morning.
Okay, so it's important that you take care of whatever you need to between now and the next court date. If you have to take the bus or Uber or whatever it is, get it taken care of so that you've done what you need to do. The DA and Mr. Rojas can talk, and then we'll see. You're free to go. Is that it for you, I think, Mr. Rojas? It happens. It happens. All right, Sergeant Carl Ross and Mr. Adams, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment in each case?
Yeah.
Mr. Ross, in cause number 25, DCCR 0093, You're charged with a second-degree felony offense, collision involving death, from November 28th of 2020. How do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you? And then in cause number 25, DCCR 0094, you're charged with a third-degree felony offense of collision involving serious bodily injury, and that's from December 28th of 2024. How do you plead to that charge? Again, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And because you did what they charged you with. I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Agnew? Do you fully understand? And do you understand if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney that you'll be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a deferred probation. It doesn't have a term on here. For a 10-year deferred probation, there would be a $1,000 fine in each case, and obviously you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Is that your understanding? Also, do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or a denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1 in each case.
Okay.
It's admitted in each case. Is there any evidence that Mr. Ross is not?
No. Fine.
All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered pleas of guilty freely and voluntarily, find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of those pleas, find sufficient evidence in each case to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing, and the probation department will do a pre-sentence report. That'll give me more information about you, your case, and we'll come back later for sentencing. You need to stop and talk to probation on your way out of the courtroom today. She's at that desk right there. All right, we'll see you back. Okay. I don't have it. All right, sir, you're Xavier Clayton, and will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment? And Mr. Clayton, in cause number 24, DCCR 2205, and the state has elected to proceed on count 1 only. It alleges you committed a second-degree felony offense of assault on a peace officer from September 24th to 2024. How do you plead to that charge? You either did it or you didn't do it. We don't do no contest. I'm sorry? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with Mr. Adams? Do you fully understand? And do you understand if I follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney that you'll be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And it looks like the agreement that you reached is for a 5-year deferred probation, no fine. Fine of $500, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Is that your understanding?
And there's the gavel. 10 years in prison. The judge makes it clear this isn't just punishment, it's protection. In her eyes, the defendant didn't lose her kids today. The choices did.
Also, as part of that agreement, the state is going to dismiss 24 DCCR 2206 and 24 CCCR 1472. Is that your understanding as well? Also, do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization? State tenders number 1.
No.
It's admitted as any evidence that Mr. Clayton is not competent.
No.
All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing so that the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. That'll just give me more information about you, your case, and then we'll come back later for sentencing. You need to stop and talk to probation on your way out of the courtroom today, and she's going to do this. All right, we'll see y'all at sentencing. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Good morning, you're Gracie Cassidy. And Ms. Cassidy was previously in court and entered a plea of guilty in cause number 24 DCCR 1480 to the third-degree felony offense of unlawful carrying a weapon in prohibited place. I've received a pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes.
Are there any additions or corrections?
And the only this fact I'd like to see, she's now living in New York.
Just make sure when you talk to probation, they'll get that all taken care of. The biggest thing about your probation being transferred is it kind of means you have double duty. So you will be reporting in person where you live, but you're still technically in this probation here in Texas. So it's like a whole. Well, no, there's one fee, but you will have to report either by mail or online here as well each month. So you're going to go in person there, and you also have to report here. So you can't forget to do that mail-in or online reporting here because that would be a violation. A lot of people, they think they're doing everything right because they're reporting in person over there. You have to stay in touch. All right.
I don't know. I know it's more than not the dog.
Yeah.
And it's working with them.
Hang on, ma'am.
That's the only thing that's needed out of where you can find out.
Okay, so whatever you have to take care of, obviously in Georgia with regard. I got you. Okay. All right. Okay. That's where you got arrested, and then they transferred you here. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Cassidy, I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient of. Mhm. Yeah, that's what happens when you're on felony probation. It's required. You talk to your probation officer if you're doing everything right. Sometimes they waive part of those. Sometimes they don't. It depends on how you're doing. You understand? This could be a lot worse, so you probably need to fix your attitude. Because having a bad attitude with me is nothing good for you. So I'm going to find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time, I'm going to follow your agreement and defer all proceedings, place you on probation for 4 years. You're ordered to pay a $500 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, this is an excellent opportunity because you do not have a felony conviction in the record. And if you successfully complete the probation at the end, the case is actually you will never have a felony conviction. The other side of that, though, is if you violate any condition of probation, you can be brought back to the court. You can be found guilty and sent to prison for anywhere between 2 and 10 years. Do you understand? One thing is on these types of probation, if you do everything you're supposed to, I sign early terminations from probation all the time. But it means you have to get it all taken care of early and up front. Take care of everything, and then there's the possibility of getting off early. I'm handing you the trial court certification that says this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. You need to have a seat here in the courtroom. Probation is going to call you up to her desk when she's ready to do your paperwork. All right? Good luck to you, ma'am. Good morning. Are you Thomas Fisher? And Mr. Macon, will your client waive a formal reading of the indictment at each hearing?
Yes, you are. I don't know if I put it on the paper. Give this you to 175.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Fisher, in cause number 23, DCCR 1046, you're charged with a second-degree felony offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, June 4th of 2023. And how do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And because you did what they charged you. And then in cause number 23, DCCR 1047, you're charged with a state jail felony offense of criminal mischief on June 4th of 2023, and how do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And also, are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you? In each of those cases, I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with Mr. Macon? And do you fully understand? And do you understand, if I follow the agreements that you've made with the district attorney, that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And it looks like the agreement for 5-year deferred probation, without a $500 fine in each case, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. And there would also be a dismissal in clause number 23, DCCR 1751. Is that your understanding? Also, do you understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State sentence number 1 in each case. You submitted in each case. Is there any evidence that Mr. Fisher is not competent? All right, sir. In each of your cases, I'm going to find that you entered your pleas of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequence of those pleas. Find sufficient evidence in each case to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your cases so the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. That'll give me more information about you and your cases, and then we'll come back at a later date for sentencing. If you need to stop and talk to probation on your way out of the courtroom today and see something that does right. All right? We'll see you back at sentencing. Good morning. Are you Bethany Loza Diaz? And Ms. Loza Diaz is charged with driving while intoxicated with a child under 15 in clause number 25, DCCR 029A. And what is the email?
Yeah, I might have all the stuff you have right now.
All right. Okay. Okay. I'll just do a normal reset unless you want it to be. I'll just do a normal reset. Ms. Loza Diaz, it's very important you call and make an appointment. Go see Mr. Macon so that you can go over everything with him, and we'll get an announcement. Okay? All right, free to go. Thank you. Thank you, you too. All right, ma'am. Again, you're Carolyn Whitaker. Is the offer in each case, or is it in one with a dismissal of the other, or what? With the dismissal. No. I just want to fill in the dismiss call with everyone's permission. Okay, that's part of the plea bargain. No, that's okay. Okay. And when it works, we are. It is nice once you have it. Okay. So, Ms. Whitaker, in cause number 24, DCCR 2182, you're charged with first-degree felony offense of aggravated sexual assault on September 17th of 2024. And what that means is that if you go to trial and you're found guilty, the range of punishment is between 5 years and up to 99 years or life in prison. Do you understand? And I have here on the computer a plea bargain rejection that has your signature with Mr. Morians that shows that the state has offered, if you wanted to enter a plea of guilty, for a cap of 40 years in prison, which means you will be leaving your punishment up to me. But if I followed that agreement, I couldn't give you more than 40. 40, I can give you less, I can give you or whatever. That would all take place later at a sentencing hearing. You have every right to reject that and have your case at trial. I just want to make sure you understand all the consequences and possible offers. Do you understand that? And do you want to reject that offer and have your case, both cases at trial? And I don't think I said it, I talked about it, that part of that plea offer would be for a dismissal and the injury to a disabled individual. Do you understand as well? Okay, and so I want to make sure that after today you understand as well. I will not accept, once cases are on my trial docket, I don't accept plea agreements like the same one unless there is new information that either your attorney or the state's attorney did not know today. So once it gets on the trial docket, it's expected to go to trial. If you wanted to change your mind and enter a plea, it would be to something different. Okay, we'll get it set on the trial docket. Mr. Boyan will begin preparation for trial. You free to go. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Y'all be done.
Morning, Mr. Smith. Good morning, sir. You're Brandon Broussard. And Mr. Broussard, in cause number 24, DCCR 1150, is charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. And what is the indictment? Looks like you were end of June. Okay. Any issues, Mr. Smith? All right, Mr. Broussard, I'm going to just reset your case in normal reset, which is about 30 days or so. Make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Galmore, visit with him, and then we'll see where we are. All right, you're free to go.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Dirk and Mr. DeMel on Chad Cracknell. Morning. Morning, Mr. Jamel. Good, thank you. How are you?
His father.
Okay, and so there. Okay. 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 All right, you're Chad Cracknell. And Mr. Cracknell, in cause number 22, cause number 22, 39948, you're charged with a second-degree felony offense of solicitation of prostitution from February 26th of 2021, and that's for under 18. And what that means is that if you go to trial and you're found guilty by a jury, the range of punishment would be between 2 years and up to 20 years in prison. Do you understand? And I have here on the computer a plea bargain rejection that you've signed, and it looks like your dad and your attorneys, that shows that the district attorney's office has made an offer if you wanted to plead guilty for a 10-year term in prison, but you would serve that on probation instead of in prison. Do you understand what they have offered you? And you have every right to reject that, have a jury determine if you're guilty, and that jury can decide what the punishment is. And if you go forward, I just want to make sure you understand what your options are if you wanted to enter a plea of guilty today, what the consequences could be if you go to trial. And do you understand all of that? And do you want to reject that offer and have your case set for trial? Okay? Then we'll get it set on the trial docket, and your lawyers will begin preparation for trial. Okay? Y'all are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Are you Nakia Brandon? And in cause number 24, DCCR 2332, Mr. Brandon's charged with tampering or fabricating physical evidence. What is the amount?
Yes, Your Honor. There's several codependent case. We'll work on getting one made up.
Okay. Any issues? All right. So, Mr. Brandon, I'm going to reset your case about 30 days. Make sure you stay in touch with Ms. Holmes and your bondsman. They'll let you know when you need to do that. All right. You're free to go. And Cameron Gutierrez, Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take care of it. All right, sir. Are you Cameron Gutierrez? And Ms. Holmes, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment? Excuse me, Mr. Gutierrez, in cause number 25, DCCR 0325. Excuse me, you're charged with a third-degree felony offense of evading arrest and detention with the use of a vehicle from February 1st, 2025. And how do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with Ms. Holmes? And do you fully understand? And do you understand, if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney, that you will be waiving or giving up any right to it? And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 2-year deferred probation. There would be a $500 fine, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Is that your understanding? Also, do you understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization of the federal. State tenders number 1. It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Mr. Gutierrez is not? All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered the plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of that plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing so the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. That'll just give me more information about you, your case, and then we will come back at a later date. You need to stop and talk to probation before you leave the courtroom today, and she's going to do. Okay, we'll see you back at sentencing. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am. You're Kelly McBride. And Ms. McBride, in clause number 25, DCCR 0044, is charged with obstruction or retaliation. And what is the announcement?
Right, this is so I'm being spoken with prosecutor and all this. I have one position on that so that
Any issues? All right, I'm going to reset the case one more time. Ms. McBride, make sure you visit with Mr. Samuel before that next court date so that we can get an announcement as to what we're going to do on the case at the next court. Okay. You're free to go. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Good morning. Are you James Ward? And Mr. Ward was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty in cause number 24, DCCR 0541, to the second-degree felony offense of robbery. I've received the pre-sentence report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
and also just a couple of things that she while we talking about that.
Okay. Okay. And was that the evading? That's what I had. I had a question mark on. Okay. Anything else?
Just sometimes you're like in the food power for and I saw him and that's all right.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Ward, I'm going to find that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney. Defer all proceedings, place you on probation for 5 years. You're ordered to pay a $500 fine and to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, this is an excellent opportunity because you don't have a felony conviction on your record. And if you successfully complete the probation, at the end of it, the case is dismissed and you will never be a convicted felon. The other side of that, though, is if you violate any condition of probation, you will be brought back into court, found guilty, so then you would be a convicted felon, and you can go to prison for anywhere in the punishment range, which is between 2 years and up to 20 years in prison. You understand? Part of your probation is that you are to remain, have no contact with Michael Jackson, or Raquel, or whatever his name is. He's the victim, okay? And you cannot go to the Lansdowne apartment on Jimmy Johnson Boulevard. You're also to avoid any contact or communication with Kenneth Harrison, Corwin Thomas, and Gerodrick Randall. Do you understand? That means obviously hanging out in person. You cannot message them. Y'all don't need. Okay, you can't. Y'all need to all just do your own thing, so you don't get back in trouble and back in here. Okay. See, I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. And I will sign a dismissal in that other case as soon as it comes through. Did you have a question? So here's what you need to do is you have to always have permission to travel. So talk to your probation officer, bring them proof of your job, where you need to go and when. It's going to be a pain because you're going to have to ask for permission every time, but you have to do it because if you take off and go, even if it's for work and you don't have permission, it could be a violation. If everything's going fine and you're doing everything you're supposed to in your probation, there's no reason they wouldn't let you do that, okay? But you have to ask the question, okay? All right, so if you'll just have a seat here in the courtroom, probation is going to call you if she's ready to go over all of your paperwork. All right, good luck, sir. Mr. Gertz, are you ready to announce on David Hatcher? Good morning, you're David Hatcher. And in 24 DCCR 2470, Mr. Hatcher is charged with intoxication assault. What is the announcement?
Well, Dr. John, the officer gave the question of this, all right, having trouble in the question. And I did. He was all right. Thank you all. I stayed up in my class.
Okay. We'll reset it one more time. This will be the last one. Looks like Mr. Roach has been on since January, been going along for a bit. So, if you can, I guess, get him on. Thank you. Mr. Hatcher, stay in touch with Mr. Gertz. He'll let you know, obviously, if he gets an offer, y'all can talk about that before court and in court. All right, you're free to go. Thank you. And Mrs. Huff, how are you? Mr. Simmons, I have one more thing that you need to fill out. It's a discovery certification. Just look at that black box right there, and I'll need you and your client to sign that. And then there's an attachment, and the clerk can explain to you that. We'll need that before signing. It's just anything that you can, when you look at the portal, I think there's a first page that says everything that's on it. That way, just you attach it, you can send it as an email so that shows that you went through all the that. I need that signed today, and then we'll let you send that email later. But you need to get that sent, if possible, today by email to the clerk. Thank you. All right, sir. Are you Sharam Ahmed? And will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment? Mr. Ahmed, in cause number 24, DCCR 1684, you're charged with a state jail felony offense, solicitation and prosecution, from March 28th of 2024. How do you plead to that charge? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you with? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with Mr. Simmons? And do you fully understand? And do you understand, if I follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney, that you'll be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 3-year deferred adjudicated probation. There would be a $500 fine, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and provisions of probation. Is that your understanding? Do you also understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization and referral? State tenders number 1. It's admitted as any evidence that Mr. Ahmed is not. All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of that plea. What, is there any issue? What do you feel about waiving? So there's nothing. Right. Right. Okay. Um, sure. They'll take care of that once he talks to them, and so that you guys don't have to come back here again, I'm going to waive the pre-sentence report. Again, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement that you made with the district attorney and defer all proceedings, place you on probation for 3 years. You're ordered to pay a $500 fine, and you're ordered to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. If you do that, this is an excellent opportunity because you don't have a felony. And if you successfully complete the probation at the end, it's actually you'll never have a conviction. The other side of that, though, is if you violate any condition of probation, you can be brought back into court, found guilty of the offense, so you'd be a convicted felon, and you could go to prison for anywhere between 6 months and up to 2 years. Do you understand? And it looks like you don't have any kind of history, and so it's important also for you to understand. I find early terminations for probation all the time. So if you get into probation, you do everything you're supposed to, do your community service over with, pay your fees, fines, all that, then you can actually get off early. But that's going to be up to you to make sure you get everything taken care of. All right. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. And then once I do that, you need to have a seat here in the courtroom. Probation will go over, call you up. She's at the desk. She's going to call you up to go over all of your paperwork. And then before, we definitely need y'all to look up and get that email sent, because once the case is closed out, I don't get one more that discovery. So if you'll kind of help them do that. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Here's the certification. All right. You just have a seat in the courtroom. Mr. Valles on Crystal Calvillo. Ms. Calvillo? Okay. She'll get her. How are you this morning? Good. Good morning, ma'am. You are Crystal Calvillo?
Yes, ma'am.
And in cause number 24, DCCR 2456, Ms. Calvillo is charged with theft of property with previous convictions. And Mr. Valles, what is it now?
Nothing for to be honest, I was gonna ask for case to discuss properly.
Sure.
He mentioned you prior to something.
Okay. You may just hold, I'll hold it if y'all can take care of it this morning, great. And then if not, just let me know. We'll give you a little more time. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Yep.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Ashley Riggins? And Ms. Riggins, in cause number 25, CCR 0092 is charged with the state jail felony offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle. And what is the amount?
Yes, Your Honor. My client about the agency offer. She wants to try and move it.
So here's what I like to do in those types of cases where there'll be, I'd rather you go ahead and enter the plea and do the paperwork today. And then I will research sentencing for some amount of time. But that way, at least the paperwork's done, and if you get all of it taken care of, and then I'll give you some time to get your affairs in order, knowing that you've already pled, and if you don't show up, things can be worse, things like that. I won't need a pre-sentence report, but we can just reset it in a couple weeks. If y'all will get the paperwork done, I'll take it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, sir, you're Jonathan Zecap. And Mr. Zecap, in cause number 24, DCCR 2348, you're charged with a third-degree felony offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more, and that's from April 10th of 2024. The indictment alleges you were previously convicted of driving while intoxicated January 16th of 2019 in Carroll County, Georgia, and then September 28th of 2020 in Orange County, Texas. What that means is that if you go to trial and you're found guilty, the range of punishment will be between 2 years and up to 10 years in prison. Do you understand? And I have here on the computer a plea bargain rejection that shows the district attorney's office has made an offer if you wanted to enter a plea of guilty for a 10-year term in prison, but that would be probated. You'd be on probation for 5 years, ordered to pay a $500 fine, follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Do you understand what the offer do you want to reject that offer and have your case set for trial? All right, I will do that. I also want to make sure you understand that once my cases get on the trial docket, I don't typically accept the plea agreements unless there's some new information that has come up that either your attorney or the state's attorney doesn't know at this point. So if you change your mind later and want to enter a plea of guilty, it would either be open to the court or be something different than what we have. If you understand. Okay. And you received everything as far as discovery. All things. Okay. I'll get it set on the trial docket, and Mr. Garcia begin preparation. Ready to go. Y'all did the wrong paperwork. Yeah. Y'all did the regular paperwork for TDC instead of state jail. So I'm gonna delete it. State jail certificate. And I have to use that because it's the non-state jail.
Okay.
I'm gonna delete this, and y'all just need to look it up, and it'll say state jail or TDC. I'll look it up. All right. Thanks. Sorry about that. That's okay. Wrong paperwork. You have to do the state jail felony paperwork for the state jail felony. I'm going to delete it. It's on the tablet. There's one that says TDC and there's one that says state jail. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. Again, you are Ashley Riggins. And Ms. Coffin, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor, she will.
Ms. Riggins, in cause number 25, DCCR 0092, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle from November 23rd of 2024. And how do you plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty? Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with Ms. Coffin? And do you fully understand them? And do you understand if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And so we've talked before, the agreement that you've reached is for 15 months in the state jail prison. And what we're planning on doing today is go through this plea, and then you would come back in a few weeks for sentencing. I want to make sure you understand, if you don't come back, you have already agreed to this. Yeah, number one, I can just give it to you. Number two, I could reject this plea and things will be a lot worse. Do you understand? So it's very important that if I give you this time, you take care of what you need to. You don't get in trouble again. Because if you get arrested, you can be right back in here without this agreement. And if you don't show up for court as well, okay? Do you also understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization in this federal law? State tenders number 1.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Ms. Riggins is not?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Riggins, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing to, today is 4. We have docket on 24th. So that's 3 weeks. So you're going to have until August 25th. But you've got to be here on time that morning on August 25th. We'll go through the sentencing, and that's when you'll start the time, okay? All right, we'll see you then. No PSI. You're free to go. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Good morning again. You're Crystal Cavalo. And Mr. Vallis, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Cavalo, in cause number 24, DCCR 2456, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of theft of property with previous convictions from November 3rd of 2024. The indictment alleges you were previously convicted of theft November 24th of 2003 in Harris County, Texas, and then again on August 3rd of 2012 in Fort Bend County, Texas. And how do you plead to that charge? And are those prior convictions? I have here on the computer, well, are you entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily? And did you plead guilty because you actually did what they charged you? I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you sign these, did you go over them with your attorney? And do you fully understand them? And do you understand if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal? And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 3-year deferred adjudicated probation. There would be a $500 fine, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation. Do you understand? Is there a restitution, or was everything complete? Okay.
So, these are flyers and,
Okay. I'll probably get a pre-sentence report just so I can look at all that before sentencing. Do you also understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1. And I have to ask everyone. State tenders number 1, any objections? It's admitted. Is there any evidence Ms. Cavalo is not correct? All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case for sentencing so that the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. They'll just give me more information about you, your case, and then we will come back later for sentencing. You need to stop and talk to probation on your way out of the courtroom, and she submits that death record.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you back at sentencing. Thank you.
Yeah.